What has been the best backline in the world on the international stage in 2024? Who deserves to make the dream team and be regarded as the best player in their position this year? And whilst the World Player of the Year is the most prestigious accolade that anyone can win or be nominated for, making the dream team, being the best player in your position with all the great players that are out there, is a huge achievement as well. So whoever manages to be chosen in these positions will massively treasure that achievement. So let's have a go at picking it now. I've had a go, and I'm looking at the back line now on a video previously. I've done the forwards, the piano pushers, as I described them. Now let's look at the piano players, the gas men, the pretty boys of the team. There's some amazing players, and there are some really, really difficult choices that I've had to make. Your thoughts down below in the comments. Give the video a thumbs up, hit subscribe as well. And a reminder, this is based on international rugby in 2024. So the World Cup's irrelevant and club rugby is irrelevant. And so I'm not picking who is the best backline in the world. If I were picking a World 15, my World 15 would be Dupont, Pollard, Colby, Dialende, Ringrose, Penno, Keenan. That would be my World 15 backline for what it's worth. Not many of them, very, very few of them, have made this team of the year because this is international rugby in 2024. And on that basis, my scrum half is Jamison Gibson-Park, who helped Ireland win another Six Nations title. And when I say helped, was instrumental. He is at the heart of Ireland when they're playing well. When they have their mojo, when they've got their layers of attack, when they're on the front foot and defences just aren't quite sure where to look, Jamison Gibson-Park is the one that's dictating the tempo, dictating the play. His rugby IQ is off the charts. He's had a few injuries this year and so not played as much as he would have liked. That said, he has been outstanding. Jamison Gibson-Park would be the first person to tell you that the best scrum half in the world by a country mile is Antoine Dupont, but he hasn't been playing international rugby. Jamison Gibson-Park played opposite Dupont in that Champions Cup final, which is the best individual performance I've ever witnessed live. But like I say, Dupont hasn't played international rugby really this year. So Jamison Gibson-Park is my choice. Could have gone to Nolan Le Garrec. He was great for France. I think the South African scrum halves probably have suffered from the fact that there's a lot of chopping and changing going on. So Grant Williams has been good. Reinach's been good. I think Hendrickson might actually be the one that comes out and emerges as the 9 moving forward for South Africa, but we'll see. Alex Mitchell was really good through the Six Nations and in New Zealand. Shame he missed out on the November tests. Thomas Williams for Wales has had a strong year. And Cam Roigard, if he'd been able to play more earlier in the year, he may well have been walking off with this gong. But Jamison Gibson-Park it is. Fly half is the most difficult position to pick. It's weird, isn't it? Because the 10 is such an instrumental part of a rugby team. You would think there would be some standout choices, but there actually haven't been in 2024. So before I put up who I've picked, pin your colours to the mast. Who would you go for? Because I've gone for Marcus Smith. Other contenders. And it was by process of elimination. I was going through every country going, Pollard, I've already said, if I was picking a world team, a World 15, I think the best 10 in the world is Handré Pollard. But he's not played that much. Because Sasha Feinberg and Gomzulu, who's been really good, played a bit. Marnie Lebox, who's a great 10, has played a bit. So I kind of discounted all 3 of those as a result because they've not played a massive amount of international rugby. Look at New Zealand. Bowden Barrett and Damien McKenzie have shared the duties and have had great games and then more average games. So they get pushed out as well. And Albanese and Santi Carreras. I mean, Albanese, the way he's finished the year, he could have been a contender, but he wasn't in possession of the 10 jersey for most of the year. Finn Russell, he has been in possession of the 10 jersey for Scotland, but they've, as a team, and Russell, as a consequence, as an individual, have sort of blown a bit hot and cold at times. Jack Crowley would have been the closest to getting the nod from Marcus Smith, and maybe Jack Crowley will end up getting it at the Dream Team Awards, and that actually he would deserve that. He's seamlessly stepped into Johnny Sexton's shoes, taken that mantle on, won a Six Nations, brilliant in South Africa. I just went with Marcus Smith. I don't know. Maybe it's that creative spark that he gives England. Although, actually, I'm sort of... You see how difficult it is? I'm talking myself into Jack Crowley now because I'm going, as brilliant as Marcus Smith is, and has been. The only game he's won when he's been wearing the number 10 jersey for England has been against Japan. Yeah. It was George Ford who was 10 when England beat Ireland, wasn't it? Anyway, I've gone for Marcus Smith. It could be Jack Crowley. Tell me what you think in the comments down below. Centres. This was difficult as well. Really, really difficult because there's been some great players. Sione Tuipulotu, Tommaso Menoncello, Damian Dialende. I've already said Dialende would make my World 15. I've gone for Santiago Chocobares. It's a really difficult choice. He has been so good this year. It's such a shame he's missed these November tests because that could be the reason why he misses out on the dream team this year. I think he deserves it just because the influence he's had. That Argentinian backline has been amazing. And Chocobares is just the glue. So, in fact, the great 12s in the world, when you look around, are the ones that are the glue in their team. Tuipulotu for Scotland, Dialende for South Africa, Menoncello for Italy, and Santiago Chocobares for Argentina. Just pulls everything together. He's such an intelligent player. Champions Cup winner with Toulouse yet, but I'm talking about international rugby. The first time Argentina have ever beaten South Africa, New Zealand and Australia, their best rugby championship ever. This guy was at the heart of it. He's been brilliant. He is my 12. Outside him, I've gone for Jesse Creel. Having said that in my World 15, I picked Gary Ringrose and he has looked really good. He's missed a lot of the year. Jesse Creel hasn't missed any rugby. And he's playing again in Wales this weekend. I still feel like the amount Jesse Creel plays for this South Africa team, and he's got 2 World Cup winners medals, they've won everything. And he's an ever-present in that team with players like Lacanio Am waiting in the wings. Andre Esterhazen can't get in a look in the midfield. I know he's a 12, but you know what I mean. It's phenomenal. And all that said, I still think this guy is underappreciated and underrated. Just look at it like this. Rassie Erasmus rotates all the time, but this guy, when he's picked, when he's in, he never misses a minute. He never gets replaced. The only time he's missed any rugby in those 11 appearances he's made for the Box is when he got a yellow card with 2 minutes to go. Otherwise, he plays all the time. He is so good. And he's had a brilliant 2024. And I hope Jesse Creel gets in. With a mention to Hugh Jones, who's been really good for Scotland. Ignacio Brex, good for Italy. Yeah, I probably mentioned everyone that deserves to be mentioned, actually. Dylan Riley for Japan, been excellent as well. Cheslin Colby on the wing. To the wings then. No surprise, he's nominated for World Player of the Year. Could well win it. And how can you not love him? What a brilliant human being. What an absolutely amazing player on the wing. Stepping in at scrum half. Throwing a ball in at the line out. Goal kicking. And most importantly, being an electric finisher. He is elite. He's been part of an all-conquering Bok team. Rugby Championship winners. Big game player. And I watched him get a couple of tries at the weekend. Just saw his brilliance in that game against England, just to underline that he is in the Team of the Year. Could well be Player of the Year. I have put Will Jordan on the other wing. He has played some of the season on the wing. He's played more games at fullback, admittedly, but I've put him in. I mean, weirdly for Will Jordan, it's a good job they're playing Italy this weekend because Will Jordan, you need to sort this out. Only 6 tries from 9 appearances this year. Come on, that's below par for you. You'll probably go and get 5 against Italy this weekend and get back up with a try a game. He is just an outstanding rugby player. His brain seems to be that little bit quicker than everyone else's, and he's got some wheels as well. So Will Jordan is the winger. I'd mention on the wing, Duan van der Merwe could have been a winger out of the 2 wingers. Louis Biarré has been really good. Emmanuel Faye-Waboso has been excellent as well. Yeah, I think those would be the others that are contenders. But Colby and Jordan on the wing is good for me. And finishing the team off, this was a 50-50 call between Tom Wright of Australia, but I've gone for Juan Cruz Malia of Argentina, who has been sublime this year. And again, it feels right to reward Argentina with 2 backs in the dream team because they have had a breakout, well, not breakout year, but a real standout year for Argentina, competing as well as they did in the Rugby Championship, those wins against South Africa and New Zealand. And they've done that by rolling the dice, scoring some incredible tries, attacking from deep in their own 22 sometimes. And Juan Cruz Malia has been brilliant. And 5 tries to his name in 8 appearances. is some return as well. I think he totally deserves it. There is my back line. There is my back line for the dream team. I do want to mention a couple of people that play in Tier 2, which the odds are stacked so heavily against players from Tier 2 nations because this is only judged. This is why it should take into account club rugby, I think, because it gives Tier 2 players a chance to be rewarded for their brilliant performances this year. For Leon and for Georgia, David Niniashvili has been amazing. He's only 22. If he were a player for one of the big nations, he'd be one of World Rugby's biggest stars. He is so good. He plays for Georgia. I want them to have an opportunity to play in the Six Nations because they went and won the Rugby Europe Championship this year. They've performed really well. David Niniashvili deserves to be on the world stage. So I wanted to give him a mention, as well as someone I've already mentioned now, Dylan Riley, outside centre for Japan, in a poor performing team. He has been outstanding. 9 appearances, 7 tries, and I'm hoping he's going to be picked for that game at Twickenham against England so he can finish the year strongly. I thought he definitely deserved a mention. But there is the backline of the year for the Dream Team. If I were picking it, some tough choices, like I say, 10, 12, 13, well, in fact, every position. It is really, really tough. Much harder than the forwards. So there'll be a good discussion, I'm sure, in the comments down below. What do you think? I've gone for Gibson Park Smith, Chocobares Creel, Colby Jordan, Malia. I'm all right with that. Let me know what you think.